have another super interesting and culturally relevant piece of research that I wish everybody knew about. And stay with me because this starts off crazy and then gets crazier as I go. Okay, so the first piece that you have to understand is that the egg that made you was present inside of your maternal grandmother. And here's why. Women are born with all of the eggs that they will ever have, meaning that those eggs must be created in utero. So whilst your biological mother was inside the womb of your grandmother, your egg was also present. Meaning, to a certain extent, you existed inside of your maternal grandmother. Besides this being a random, crazy, kind of odd piece of science, this actually has significant ramifications for who you are. As we've learned more about how genes work, we've learned about a concept called epigenetics, which basically is saying that the expression of your genes can and will be modified by environmental factors in real time, which suggests that whatever was going on in your maternal grandmother's life while she was pregnant with your biological mother has directly impacted your genes. This is known as epigenetic transgenerational inheritance, meaning that the environmental conditions that were being experienced by your maternal grandmother acted on the egg that made you to potentially modify your genetic expression. There's a particularly dramatic example of this historically in what is known as the Dutch hunger winter. What basically happened is during World War II, there was a discrete period of about 6 months where the Dutch experienced extreme famine. And for those who survived, we have been able to track what happened to the individuals who were in utero during the famine, but never experienced the famine outside of the womb. And there's a lot of interesting evidence about what happened to those individuals who were in utero during that famine. But what's crazier is that effects were seen in their children. So the offspring of the individuals who had been in utero during the famine also have demonstrated, for example, metabolic changes. The BMI in the grandchildren of the individuals who were pregnant during the famine tends to be higher, and that association has been linked to epigenetic changes. Is that making sense? How crazy is that? Somebody experiences a famine. They're pregnant during that famine. They survive the famine. Their offspring suffer the consequences of that famine, including things like metabolic changes, which of course would be evolutionarily adaptive. And then their children, none of whom have experienced famine, still demonstrate those same metabolic changes, struggling with higher BMIs as a byproduct of what happened to their grandparents for 6 months. So it's worth doing the homework and finding out what was going on with your maternal grandmother when she was pregnant with your biological mother, because that may have had a direct impact on your genetic profile. Scientific literature on this topic is pretty dense, but if you just Google Dutch hunger winter epigenetics, you'll find a ton of easy to digest resources. I find all of it absolutely fascinating. For anybody who is ever wondering why they are the way they are or trying to make sense of the effects of intergenerational trauma, this provides another level of scientific understanding. It's worth checking out.